In a mountain valley deep within an impenetrable forest, two men hide in a small cabin. One of them notices the arrival of unwanted guests attempting to silently open the front door. Armed with a blade, he peers into the darkness and sees nothing suspicious. But in the next moment, he is ensnared and killed by alien creatures. His partner makes a run for it, moving with inhuman speed through the forest, but escaping the danger proves impossible. A Magodarian attacks the young man from behind, tearing the gleaming medallion from his chest with a shining blade. A similar medallion is worn on the chest of Denial, who is racing along the coast on jet skis with his friends. His incredible tricks catch the attention of an attractive blonde who arranges a nighttime date with him. The couple splashes in the water, admiring the starry sky, when Denial's friend is pierced by excruciating pain, emanating from a glowing spot on his shin. Frightened, the girl tries to help the young man, but upon realizing that he is not human, she runs away. Denial does the same, trying to escape prying eyes. At dawn, the young man is found by Henry, to whom Denial reports the death of the third and the appearance of a new mark that becomes visible to many witnesses, forcing the wanderers to pack their belongings and prepare for the journey in search of a new sanctuary. Unbeknownst to them, a lizard has stealthily slipped into the car's trunk, traveling along with them. Many years ago, Denial left the planet Lorien, seeking refuge from the Magodarians in the company of Henry and 8 other chosen children. The rest of their people have been exterminated, including his father, who left Denial a box to be delivered when the time is right. The ruthless Magodarians are hunting the chosen on Earth and killing them one by one, causing each survivor to develop new scars. 3 have already perished, and now the deadly threat looms over Denial. He must become the 4th. The new haven for the fugitives is the town of Paradise in the state of Ohio, where Denial will now go by the name John Smith. The man settles into an old house on the outskirts, where John is not supposed to leave according to Henry's instructions. Unloading their belongings from the trunk in the evening, John inadvertently releases a small, inconspicuous hitchhiker. Hiding from prying eyes, the lizard assumes the guise of a dog and attempts to enter the house while Henry and John are busy removing all his photos that had leaked onto the internet. A friendly beagle found under a bush immediately wins John's sympathy, and Henry succumbs to his pleas to keep the dog. While the friends settle into their new place, an unknown blonde searches their old cabin by the ocean. Failing to find any clues about the fugitives' new location, the girl demolishes the cabin into pieces, boldly passing through an explosive wave protected by an energy field. The following morning, Henry reads archived news about a certain Malcolm Spellman's disappearance in the town when John arrives and announces his intention to attend the local school for which he has already prepared fake documents. Reluctantly, the Guardian agrees to this idea, providing his ward with a phone for communication. Waiting in the director's office for the paperwork process, John becomes a witness to a conflict. A schoolmate named Sarah posted compromising photos of a teacher without his consent. John observes the girl with interest, and coincidentally, the director's secretary asks her to escort the newcomer to a free locker. After fulfilling her mission, Sarah leaves John, who is instantly accosted by a group of bullies led by Mark James. The boys tease him but are still somewhat friendly, offering protection if anyone harasses him. Sam, the appropriate schoolyard tough guy, lacks such privileges, and Mark humiliates him in front of John yet again. This repeats during recess in the schoolyard, where Sam receives a sword strike. As John assists the victim, he throws the ball back and surprisingly knocks down the receiver with a powerful throw, while Sarah, watching from the sidelines, captures the incident on her camera. Later that evening, the photos appear on the girl's website but quickly disappear thanks to Henry's vigilance. Nevertheless, shielding the ward from excessive attention becomes increasingly challenging after John's investigative abilities awaken during a class, causing him to run out of the classroom with burning palms. Despite the Guardian's prohibition on using his super abilities, John sets out to test his newfound powers and discovers that he can easily launch a boulder into the stratosphere, run at inhuman speeds, and leap incredible distances. In the evening, John casually strolls through the city streets and encounters Sarah. During their conversation about photography, the couple arrives at Sarah's home, and she invites John to dinner. Her family warmly welcomes their daughter's new acquaintance, and after the meal, Sarah invites John to her room to show him her work. Mutual attraction draws them closer. However, their date is interrupted by the desperate barking of the dog outside, prompting John to leave. Mark, who views the girl as his possession, secretly watches their parting. The next day, he arranges an unpleasant surprise for the newcomer and his friend, the bookish boy, by placing paint bomb bets in their lockers. Upon seeing that his only photo with his missing father has been ruined, Sam rushes to confront the bully, but instantly gets a beating. John intervenes and takes the blows, refusing to engage in a fight, but silently listening to Mark's hostile statement. Once cleaned of paint, John asks his friend about his father and learns that Malcolm was a ufology enthusiast who spent his life searching for traces of ancient astronauts and preparing for the arrival of extraterrestrials until he suddenly disappeared on the Mexican border. The boy also admits that he once considered his father a genius, but now believes he was just crazy. Meanwhile, Henry investigates the disappearance of Malcolm Spellman Sr., and his inquiry leads him to an abandoned aircraft hangar where Malcolm used to work. In the basement of the building, Henry finds symbols on the walls representing the extinct people of the planet Lorien and a glowing fragment of a cosmic rock. The residents of Paradise City gather in the evening at the fair, the only significant event in this remote place. John, sluggishly walking through the crowd, notices Sarah and decides to talk to her about the incident with Mark. The girl explains that they broke up a long time ago, but the offended boy has started seeking revenge, spreading nasty rumors, causing their peers to shun her. Inspired by the prospect of building a relationship with her, John asks Sarah to show him the best attraction at the fair. They head to the Deadly Cornfield Horror Maze, and on their way in, they are spotted by Sam, who is wandering alone. Advancing through the rickety carts in the amusement's foolish maze, the couple encounters frightening exhibits. Unaware that someone is watching how they spend time together, a creepy coachman disembarks them at the last stop called the Gates of Hell, where the walking part of the horror maze begins. John feels less and less secure when suddenly he notices the inscription on the gate, "You're next." His growing unease is justified when the couple is suddenly attacked by a gang in masks. Using his super abilities, John manages to fend off the attackers and rushes to search for Sarah, whom Mark was dragging into the depths of the forest towards a waterfall. There, the jealous ex-boyfriend attempts to reconcile with the girl and, in the heat of their argument, accidentally pushes her too hard. John intervenes and attacks the aggressor, intending to break his arm, but only Sarah's desperate plea stops him. The near mishap brings the couple closer, and at the foot of the waterfall, they confess their feelings to each other. Overflowing with emotions, John returns home, and on his way, he unexpectedly discovers a new superpower within himself. And right away, John receives a message from Sam, who tells him that he saw what was happening in the forest. John heads to meet his friend, where he is immediately questioned about his glowing hands. Sam is eager to know whether John's father was a charlatan or a brilliant scientist who truly studied extraterrestrial civilizations. The sincerity of his friend prompts John to tell the truth, revealing that Malcolm Spellman was right. Overwhelmed by this sudden revelation, Sam is overjoyed. However, John cautiously makes him promise to keep it a secret since he and the other surviving members of his race are in danger. The next morning, Sheriff James, Mark's father, pays a visit to Henry and John's home. He questions John about the brutal fight at the fair, after which several boys spent the night in the hospital. However, none of them provided any details. John also avoids giving a clear answer, and Sheriff James has to step back, lacking any evidence for accusations. Henry admires the growing strength of his protege, but then suddenly announces that they will have to move to another place again to hide from the pursuing Mogadorians. After all, the Chosen Ones must survive and unite to protect Earth from the invasion. But this time, John resists the Protector's orders, and he easily understands that it's about love. Their verbal spat escalates into a fight, and despite John's superpowers, Henry easily knocks him down. After releasing the tension, the two men manage to have a normal conversation. The Protector tells John that the love he has found for Sarah will stay with him for life, and he won't be able to forget her. With a chuckle, Henry gives John one day to say goodbye to her. Meanwhile, the unknown blonde woman is also looking for number 4 and his protector. The next morning, John intends to go see Sarah, but he finds Henry missing, and an unfamiliar voice answers his phone, dictating an address. With Sam as his companion, John sets out to meet the kidnappers. At the specified address, the friends find a house being vacated by an unknown man. John instructs Sam to keep an eye on him, while he goes inside and discovers his bound protector in the basement. His protector explains that everything that's happening is a trap set by the Mogadorians. After dealing with a couple of ufologists, one of whom had taken Sam hostage, the trio prepares to leave. However, footsteps from above are heard, and shortly after that, the basement door is blown open by a powerful blast from a blaster. Henry takes the Mogadorians' attack upon himself, while John and Sam try to start the car, managing to incapacitate the enemy temporarily. The Protector chases the boys, but an impenetrable force field does the same to him. Leaping onto the car's hood, he intends to kill John, but Henry shields him like a living shield and receives a fatal injury. Losing consciousness, the Protector hands John a stone that functions as a locator, helping to find the other Chosen Ones, and soon he dies in John's arms. Meanwhile, in the state of Ohio, Henry and John are charged with terrorism and declared fugitives. Before setting out to search for the other chosen ones, the friends return to the town. John intends to say goodbye to Sarah. At the same time, it turns out that he saw the second half of the cosmic stone among his father's belongings. Showing up at a party without any disguise, John looks for Sarah. The couple reconciles on the rooftop when police cars arrive in the yard. John plans to escape, leaving Sarah behind, but she suddenly slips off the roof, and in front of the sheriff, John has to use his power to save her. Now, the lovers must escape together. An angry Mark joins his father in the search for the fugitives. However, on the road, they fall into a Mogadorian ambush. They immediately incapacitate the sheriff and take Mark as a guide for their search, and the boy accurately leads them to the right place, the local school. Preparing for the descent, Sam informs John, who has brought the stone and the dog, that he is already waiting for him in the car at the exit. Charging their blasters, the Mogadorians storm the school, but in the face of danger, Sarah and John are not alone. Unexpectedly, the same unknown blonde woman comes to their aid, who adeptly deals with a bunch of enemies, teleporting between them and delivering deadly blows. It turns out, it's number 6 named Jane. The savior informs them that all exits from the school are blocked, and inside the building, the villains have unleashed a couple of bloodthirsty Mogadorian monsters. In the battle with the cosmic creature, John is aided by his loyal dog, who turns out to be Chimera, now taking on its true form. After neutralizing the minions of the Mogadorian leader, the group plans to escape the school through the stadium. However, a trap awaits them in the open field. Engaging in an uneven fight and combining their superpowers, John and Jane achieve a decisive victory over the evil. The next morning, they prepare to set out in the armory bus in search of the other chosen ones, along with Sam, who hopes to find his father. Before their departure, Mark appears. He hands them a box that belonged to his father, which he took from the evidence room at the police station. John is reluctantly saying goodbye to Sarah, promising to return, and the team of protectors is joined by their loyal four-legged friend who returns from the battlefield.